one of the biggest pros, always start off with the positivity, right? One of the biggest pros of being an entrepreneur, and this is one of the things that most people want, why they want to become an entrepreneur, is because you get to set your own schedule. You get to do your own thing when you want to do it, how long you want to do it. And I think that's one of the most attractive parts of being an entrepreneur. And for a lot of people, although we are all resellers, some people might not view us as entrepreneurs because, like I told you guys earlier in today's video, every entrepreneur isn't a reseller, but in my opinion, every reseller is an entrepreneur, whether you're full-time, part-time, whatever it may be. Even if you're doing it on a hobby type of basis, it's definitely, you're an entrepreneur. So the flexibility, like Regina said, the flexibility, that's definitely the one of the main most attractive things about being an entrepreneur. However, with the pros always come a con. So even though you have the flexibility, you have the ability to kind of move at your own pace and do what you want to do, having to set your own schedule can be very, very tough for most people. I'll give you guys some personal experience. So my first year, almost first 2 years, I was definitely kind of just fluid with my schedule. Whatever I felt like doing, I would go ahead and do. And, whether that meant sourcing, whether that meant trying to handle my accounting, whether that meant, shipping out packages, all of the things that kind of go with the day-to-day business of, the day-to-day processes of running a business. I kind of just did it on the fly. But the more experienced I became and the more precious time became for me, I realized that you kind of have to set a schedule and you have to kind of create some sort of work-life balance. Now, this is definitely very kind of cliche. A lot of people throw a work-life balance around, but in the beginning for myself, that was something I was definitely struggling with. And I think I have a better grasp at it now, but this is me 4 years in as opposed to, my first year. So that's definitely something people need to consider, especially if you're doing this part-time, but you want to go into this full-time. You're definitely going to have to, manage your time better and kind of figure out what kind of schedule will work best for you. And it took me a while, you know what I mean? Kind of balancing, making sure I'm spending enough time with my wife, balancing times connecting with friends and family. And then of course, just trying to keep up with the business, educating myself. It was a lot involved. So like I said, with everything, but even though the flexibility is what's super attractive, it definitely has its pros and its cons. The main thing about being an entrepreneur is that the potential to earn money and earn a lot of money is very, very high. It just depends on how much work you want to put in, how much money you actually have to invest within your business, whatever it is. It's all about, how much capital you have to put into it and how much work you're trying to put behind it. So that's definitely something a lot of people kind of have misconstrued in the sense of, once you become an entrepreneur, say you set up a t-shirt shop and you think all your shirts are just going to fly off the shelves. Or you might set up a candle business and you think all your candles are just going to fly off the shelves as soon as you start your website. It's definitely doesn't work like that. You need to put in tons and tons of man hours to kind of create the marketing around whatever it is you're trying to do. And that's why so many of us, especially online resellers, the beauty for the best thing about it for us is the fact that we sell on different platforms. So the platforms provide the traffic and we just provide the products. But if you were, doing your own thing and say you started your own t-shirt company, you're going to have to create the marketing and create the traffic around that particular brand. So I know I'm kind of going on a little tangent here, but it's definitely pros and cons to being an entrepreneur. Let me hop back in the chat. We got somebody dropped a comment in here. You learn a lot about yourself working for yourself. It's been 2 years and I got a lot to learn still. Absolutely. You definitely learn a lot about yourself. I think it's one of those things where personally, I know I learned a lot about myself. In the beginning stages, I knew it was going to be a lot of work and I knew it was going to take time to grow. But all of us just as humans, sometimes we become more impatient. We just have less patience, to see things through. So for me, I realized that, I had to become more patient and just had to really love the process, trust the process, as people like to say, because, while you're in the trenches and you're working on something, I'll give you guys an example with YouTube. I remember when I first got on YouTube last August, I was just plowing away, just trying to put out as much content, trying to provide as much value as possible. But even that time, I was basically working for free because I wasn't monetized and I wasn't making any money whatsoever. So I just had to keep pushing, keep trying to build up that foundation for myself. And my channel finally became monetized in December. And I was able to, finally start making some money for my content. But that's after, almost 6 months of not getting paid for any of the work. So that was something that I had to just kind of learn more about myself, learning how to trust the process, becoming more patient. And that's also definitely something that people that are considering being an entrepreneur, you have to think about your tolerance level, think of your patience level, because it's not always going to be, rainbows and butterflies. Some days it's going to be much tougher than others, and you're going to have to figure out, what your tolerance level is. How patient are you? What's your ability to, deal with the tough times? And some people, have higher tolerance levels. Some people can deal with stuff better than others, deal with stress and deal with pressure from better than other people. But I mean, it's all things that I definitely learned for myself during the course of these 4 years. Now, I'm going to go to one of the cons, because this is one of the things that I had on my list. Benefits. Now, if you're coming from a salary background, for me, I come from education, so I used to work at a college, and when it comes to benefits, I'm talking about health benefits, life insurance, dental insurance, vision. All of those things are covered within your salary, within your benefit package. And for me, that was definitely something that I know I didn't necessarily think of when I quit my job at first and became an entrepreneur, because life insurance, health insurance, all of these things are very expensive. That's also something people have to consider. If you have, pre-existing health conditions, being an entrepreneur might be more of like a challenging battle. It might be something that you might constantly want to push off because, your health is super important and you won't be able to afford health insurance. So that's definitely something a lot of people need to also keep in mind when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because you're going to have to pay for health insurance out of pocket, or you can just live without health insurance and have to pay that those fees at the end of the year when it comes to doing your taxes and stuff like that. So all of those things are stuff that you have to consider once you're becoming an entrepreneur, even interested in becoming an entrepreneur. Those types of perks that come with working a 9-to-5 job. Once you become an entrepreneur, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to, kind of maintain those same things.